So last week I shared about the power of asking for clarity in threes. And at the start of this week, I had a huge upheaval arise out of me. I woke up feeling hate and anger. And I had just had an amazing weekend. I had done my healing work. I felt like I was in a really good place. So I had to ask myself, what the heck is going on? And when I looked at my astrology calendar, it said that we have a new moon. And lo and behold, it is a super new moon. So that was extreme. And it was in Gemini. So there was a lot of communications from the higher realms. And this triggered a need to do deep energy healing work. And it took me on a journey of clearing hate and anger through both the masculine and feminine chakra systems. Yes, we have two. And I teach you how to do this in the blueprint of light. And it was so intense for me, especially being an energetic sensitive, because when it's a collective thing, that means everyone else is experiencing this at the same time. And so all these emotions are rising to the surface. And being someone who is really energetically sensitive, I can take things on. So I started asking the question, how do I transmute this energy, this density that is not mine? And the power of three definitely came in. I got three examples firsthand this week that taught me how to transmute. And I'm sharing this because when we are manifesting, if we take on other people's energy, it can affect our thoughts and our visualization. I experienced this firsthand this week. And so I felt like it was important to share because a lot of the times we will simply focus on affirmations, what we do in our ritual work. But you can do all this physical stuff, but if you have someone's energy seeping into your life that is extremely negative, almost like a virus, that can bring you down tenfold. So I'm going to share with you the three experiences I had this week that showed me how to transmute energy and how there are three different ways in which you can handle it that a lot of people in the spiritual community are not talking about. Number one, the first one that I experienced was the infinite knowing of sharing the experience. So, as an energy healer and sensitive, I will feel people's pain. Sometimes I can hear the emotions. There's a number of different ways that I will pick up on it, but usually it's through feeling. I will feel the emotion, I will feel what's going on within their physical body. And this is a gift from my Filipino heritage. Oh my gosh, as I'm saying this is crazy. So, no wonder it resonated with this person. Because I was on the phone with someone while at work, and this person was customer service for a company that we work with, and we've had some issues. So I was feeling a little bit frustrated. And I realized while on the phone with him, he was being a little bit testy. So we were just kind of like, when you're both in negative spaces, it doesn't help the conversation. And I could feel all of a sudden my right jaw clenching so hard, it hurt. And while he's talking, it was so intense, I just zoned out of the conversation. And mentally, I was like, is this mine? And I get a no. And then I realized the only thing that's changed in my direct vicinity is this phone conversation. And so I just interrupted the conversation. I was like, I'm so sorry. This might seem so random, but do you, by chance, have or do you struggle with intense jaw pain? And it goes quiet for a second. And all of a sudden I hear, yes, I have for quite some time. He's like, how did you see right through me? He's like, no one's ever done that before. And I was like, I can feel your pain. And I just wanted to ask if you do massage or acupuncture. He's like, no, but I've been wanting to do it. I was like, well, just take this as your sign to do that, because I was like, having that pain sucks. I really sympathize with that. And, you deserve some self-care. And we ended up having a lovely conversation after that. The pain in my jaw immediately disappeared. And it was a beautiful interaction, and it ended with him being like, no one's ever seen me like that. And I was like, well, I hope, you try to take care of yourself. He's like, it's Friday and it's my Friday and I'm going to go do this after work. And when someone is that open and wants to be seen, wants to be experienced, and is open to change, that's what makes that energy transmute like that. It's not just you saying it, it's a reciprocation. That person was open to receiving back that energy. And that's why that verbalizing it makes sense, because if you are talking to someone who is not open, that transference doesn't go back to them. And that's where you need to do number 2. That is an immediate transmutation of that energy. Because people who are addicted to emotions, especially very volatile ones, they can act like viruses, funguses, bacteria, and they can infiltrate your mind, body, and spirit. And when someone is closed off and they also feed on that negativity, they feed on you feeding into their story, that's where it gets very dangerous. And I had this experience with someone. I had to be very respectful. I saw it happening and, cut off the conversation in a very nice and polite way. But after I was done, I energetically vomited everywhere. It was very volatile. I had to shake it off. I just felt so gross. And on my way home, I started having really intense visualizations that were extremely negative. That's something I haven't had happen for a very long time. As a child, I realized I picked up on other people's negative doomsday thoughts. So I would manifest things, but from a negative standpoint. And so I've worked really hard on stepping away from that. And so I asked my spirit team and guides, I was like, what do I do? And they're like, you need to listen to your energy healing frequencies before you enter your house, because this is like a virus, the specific emotion and stuff that I was dealing with tied to this experience mirrored a virus. It had infected my energy through a phone conversation. It wasn't even in direct contact. And that's how intricately we are connected. It's pretty intense. So the craziest thing for me was being prompted to do that, not only to clear it off my energy, but they specifically said, if you take this into your house, it will infect everybody else. And I saw how that negative thinking was. And I'm like, there's no way I'm letting that touch my family. So I sat outside, did the energy healing. And at the end of this healing, I felt so much better. I felt it leave my body. And that is when you have to be very aware of who you're interacting with and how you can limit that interaction. And if you do need to be around these energies, having protective barriers in place. Some people pray, some people ward. I know for myself, I feel called to go into work and pray over the place and do a big meditation on Monday because of this intense energy. And after that, because I want to protect not only myself, I want to protect my family, and I want to protect the people that I work with. And I'm being prompted to do this and work with my angels to do it. So it's going to be a beautiful experience. I'm excited to do it. But that's one way of transmuting energy, is being aware it's not yours, not interacting with it, clearing it immediately, and then warding your space however you feel called to do so. However often, and whatever the practice is, that is yours. Own it, enjoy it, love it, and then enjoy your life. Because you can't change other people. What you can do is change how you react to it. And being proactive towards things is usually met with a lot of grace, understanding, and joy from the universe. At least that's what I have found. So I'm excited to be proactive in this experience because I know that people are human. And I also know that people we love and care for can actually transmute. stuff, or they can transmit stuff onto us. And this leads into number 3. And we have people we care for and we take on their energy, because boundaries can become blurred, because you share experiences, you share laughs, you share life, and it becomes this fine line of, is it theirs or is it mine? And after I cleared this person's energy, I was feeling all this tension in my body. And on Friday, I ended up doing a meridian cleanse, a full meridian cleanse. So every 5 times a year, I'll do this. It's an energy healing program. I will list it below, but I will clear out the polarity pairs 2 weeks before each seasonal shift. So my mind, body, and spirit shifts with greater ease. And I kept hearing, this pain isn't yours. Because these intense, heavy emotions that kept coming up on repeat were not mine. And so I heard, you need to hold on to these, and then you need to do X, Y, and Z for this amount of time to clear out this person's energy and to help you build a stronger resilience to it. And it was almost like a gentle reset of knowing, okay, this isn't yours. What boundaries do you need to set, and what do you need to get to that resolve? And I wanted to do it right away because I didn't like the physical pain I was experiencing. And my guides are like, no, you can't do that. You have to wait till Monday. Mind you, this was Friday. So for me, I just sat there and I'm like, why? And today I realized it's because people are not bad. I feel like a lot of time, especially on your spiritual journey, you'll hear people say, well, this person's toxic. It's their problem. There's a lot of shame and blame, which just repeats the problem. It doesn't transmute anything. It just perpetuates it, actually. And when I realized I could hold it, it was teaching me a lesson of how to set better boundaries, what I need to do to, strengthen my resolve around certain things. And I looked at my life, because I've realized when you have these emotions that may not be yours, there usually is something that you have going on that mirrors that. So I had to get clear. And today I got really clear on how I was mirroring these emotions and how I needed to fix them, where I needed to put boundaries down so that I could be in a good place and I could be my best self, which is a loving, joyous, happy person who loves to kick butt in what they do. I love it. So I wanted to get back to that and out of this density and out of this depression. To be honest, that's how it felt. And I had to clear this morning. I felt this depression. I listened to the lymphatic drainage. I followed it by the depression energy healing point or frequency. As soon as I listened to that, I went for a run. I went for a bike ride when I got home. And I got really clear, and it's like it purged all this stuff from my body. So I then was able to get clear on what I need to do to set boundaries moving forward, so I can keep doing the stuff that I need to do, not only for work, but for my business. So it just was this eye-opening experience this morning. And it made me realize that when you are asked to hold on to energy and wait, it's because you're transmuting that energy they gave you. And when you give it back, it's almost like it has this transmutation energy to it. So what they gave you might have been heavy and dense, but what you're giving back to them is going to be lighter. And it's going to be encoded with all the healing work that you have done, which I have found generally tends to encourage greater healing in them. You're giving them a gift. So that's the third form of transmutation. And it's really important that you get clear on which one it is and what you need to do. And I always ask God, which one is it? Do I need to speak up? Do I need to say something? And I always ask, what do I need to do? Because I have found that doing energy healing all the time just to clear it so I don't have to deal with it isn't always the answer. Sometimes the answer is to be in it so you can get the clarity on why it's happening. So I wanted to share all of this because at the end of it all, I ended up having a very big breakthrough with my manifestation practice. And I will be sharing more of that with you next week. So stay tuned for that. And I'm just really excited for this new week to come. After having this dense, heavy week, it's always nice to feel a breath of fresh air in your progress, how you're feeling, and also knowing um, what to do, I guess. And so I'm excited that, I've been gifted the knowledge on the next steps to take. I love that I just had such a great week, especially when you can look back on it. Because I feel like some weeks, especially if they're hard, it's intense, but you ask yourself, well, what can I do to resolve the situation? How can I be present? And how can I move forward? And it was so beautiful just to reflect on life this week, with it being Father's Day, and how far I've come, my family's come, and I love them all so much. And so that's really imbuing a lot of my work right now, my energy. And so I feel like it's empowering me to look at life a little bit differently. And I've also been very vigilant about my energy healing work. I finished another blueprint of light energy healing. I went through and did a whole physical support scan. I did my meridian reset for this new season to come, which is late summer. And I'm just priming and prepping for some big shifts that are happening on a personal level. And I'll discuss that in another video to come. There's just a few things that I'll be sharing next week that I already know are going to be big. And we'll talk about it then. But I just, again, want to touch on the importance of knowing what's your energy, knowing what is someone else's, and asking for clarity on what's the best route to transmute that energy. And I don't like the term clear. I like transmutation, because as I just shared, transmutation can happen in many different ways, and it could be asked to be done in different forms. You could be asked to speak up. You could be asked to put boundaries down. You could be asked to hold on to something and be a part of someone's journey. Those are the three ways I've experienced it. And it's interesting how they can manifest in different forms and experiences, but usually those three are the baseline. So I'm really excited that I got to share that experience with all of you. And I hope that it helps somebody on their journey, because looking back on it, this week, it really helped me. So I'm hoping that it really helps some of you out there too. So I'm wishing you all a really good week ahead, and we'll see you in the next video.